Hey traders, it's Matt with CGiM. Going to do another recap through the X Factor strategy through September 27th. This week wasn't super stellar. We only pulled out 2.27% profit, but that was trading every single pair and every alert. Had you traded just the best pairs that we have with this strategy, we probably would have been just a little over 9% on the week, and we like to get above 5% for the weekly gains to try to be around that 15 to 20% mark for the month. So let's go in and take a look at what these pairs did to show you what the alerts were and what each currency pair did for us. So I'd like to show you the back end of the last week here. In the prior video, you would have seen that we would have taken these trades here, and we had an open short on the euro dollar after this signal here. We immediately took profits of 1.57%, where the euro dollar gives us a better reward to our risk, but we had an open trade down here where we didn't have our exit strategy complete. Finally, our exit strategy tells us it's time to exit the trade, and as you can see, the week ended as we started. This line here is the 27th, just before the 27th of September, where the week started for us. And as the week progressed here, the first few hours of that week, we were exiting the euro dollar with a 6.54% gain on the account based on our exit strategy. Had you joined our community right after that, you wouldn't have seen this trade posted, obviously, but you would have caught this one here, which was a long position on the euro dollar. And within a few hours here, we're taking profits of the 1.57%. And we kind of go back and forth here on spin cycle for a minute, but we're not told to exit the trade yet, just because of the way the programming is. We're not exiting until it's time. We do get an exit signal here where it's time to get out before this turns against us, and you can see the colors building here. This bright red means that we're starting to get some bearish momentum. Doesn't mean that it's going to continue, but it's showing that that's the strength. So before we really take a big loss on this long position, our coding is telling us that it's time to exit. So we do exit in profits of 1.51%. So on the week alone, if you took brand new trades, we're at 3.08% on the euro dollar. Combine that with last week with a pretty good win. Stats we're going to show you that 2.27%. Obviously, this 3.08 was pretty good to help our positions, but we're going to go through the rest of the pairs and show you how those played out. Euro yen here, we did pretty well as well. As you can see, the tail end of last week coming in the first few hours of this week, we closed our second position on that short trade. 5.71% gain on last week, but this week on a new signal we had another long, just like the euro dollar. You'll find that the euro dollar and the euro yen particularly trade fairly close to each other, so a lot of times if you get a long position on the euro dollar, you'll also get one on the euro yen. Here we take our long. In a number of hours we take our first profit. Euro yen produces a 1-to-1 reward to risk, so we took our profits here. Gain 1%, and same thing, we went on spin cycle here for a little bit, and you can tell that the trade started to go against us. So our exit system told us to get out of that trade. We exited right here, so we took a profit of 1.76%. That's the beauty of our exit system, is typically if we have a nice long run like this, by the time price catches up and our exit system tells us to close, we're usually in the profits, typically above break even. That's because our system is a trend following system, so once you get this momentum moving forward, it carries us up into the place where we're in profit. So if it does tell us to close out, typically we're above that break even, and a lot of times we're right at that profit or above the take profit line. Excuse me. So we gained 1.76% on that second euro yen trade. Price kind of moved against us here, going against the long way, and we got a signal here to enter short. It just so happened that it wasn't quite decided yet. Now we have some signals that say that the euro is actually going to go long for a little bit here, so this might continue and wrap around to go long again. But the first position here, we lose our 1%, and we've got a running trade. Now, we don't exit on the stop loss with our second position, as we teach throughout our Discord channels and in our X Factor channel there. We're going to exit if we break our close guide here. So right now we have a running trade on the euro yen. This might come up against us and lose another 1%, or this might come down into profits. We just have to wait and see what it all entails. But we follow the strategy according to how the rules play out, so we'll see what this does for us. But by the end of the week, euro yen gave us 1.76%, basically because these 2% cancel themselves out. Take a look at the next pair here, the dollar yen. Dollar yen was pretty good to us at the beginning, where we thought we'd have some momentum. As you can see, we're making higher lows and higher highs, but then it actually gave us a short signal. Now, technically we're running in the profits here, and we almost hit our take profit with dollar yen, so there's a good chance that we'll still be able to do that, but we're in a running trade. So nonetheless, we took a signal here. You can tell that the reward for the dollar yen is very, very good compared to the risk. And what this pair usually does for us here, I'll just show you some stats down in the bottom. This is just for the year on the dollar yen. So if we started trading this in 2020, we'd be at a 4.2% drawdown for the year 2020 with 37 closed trades, just a little bit over 50% win rate. X Factor's not big on win rate, so if you need that, then you probably need to look at another system. This one's all about taking long positions that ride the trend. So you can see that on our money, we've made a 41.8% account gain just trading the dollar yen for 2020. So the reward that you get out of this compared to the risk is what takes some big moves for us here. And a lot of times that first position is hit and we carry that second position until we have the signal to close. So here we took the signal to close on that second position technically earlier. We didn't hit the take profit or the stop loss yet, so we're waiting for that other position either to take this line or the stop loss line, and it's a running trade, so we'll have to see on that one. But for the week, negative 0.5% on the dollar yen. Okay, looking at dollar Canada, this one was probably our best for the week. In fact, it was. We took 4.74% on this one. Had some wishy-washy trades here, and I can't go too deep into strategy because these videos are free and they're public on YouTube, so we don't want to share too much of exactly how we do this, but in the Discord channel, we'll share kind of how we exited here quickly and got back in for some quick profits. So throughout the end of the week came through, we did the spin cycle deal a little bit, came through, had our short signal, took our 1% trade. This took me... I want to say this was about 20 minutes. This tanked really fast with some big impulse moves. It doesn't always happen like that, but sometimes we get lucky. Took our 1%, and then we took a second close position right here at 2.17%. This one closes, and by this one I mean dollar Canada, closes a little differently than other pairs. It's got some program in here that has a special exit strategy where we know when to take our exits there, so we took our 2%. Then just because that exit signal did trigger here, the short position was still valid, so we took a second position, or technically a whole second trade here with two more positions, and because our exit position was still valid, we exited right away again. So without giving too many details, essentially the price moved and it told us, okay, it's time to exit, so it was there. We took our next position because we were still valid for a short based on our strategy programming in here, so we took that, and then of course our exit system was still there saying price might still move against you, so we took our exit again on the very next candle. So we nailed our profits there. We only took about 0.5%, as you see here, 0.53, but it was nice to just get in and out again. Price moved up, and then we took our second target there. This was technically our take profit position. One of our positions will either hit stop loss or take profit. The other one goes on our exit strategy, which you learn through our course. You can see on our website and the links below, and also our Discord channel. They will all link to you. So at the end of the week, dollar Canada took 4.74%. So holdover trade from last week that you would have seen is Aussie Swiss, and that came through. We ended up taking off a 2.9% holdover trade here through the rest of the week, so that was pretty nice for us. We didn't get any other signals except for this one short signal, and unfortunately we got stopped out right away. Again, we see our close guide here, so we're not going to close this second position here until it either closes beyond this guide or until we start taking profits this way and we get a close guide down here. It's hard to say what Aussie Swiss is going to do here, just because we have some signals that go both ways. But we'll just take it in stride, just like we do with every other piece of the X Factor strategy. Down 1% on Aussie Swiss. Pound Swiss was our second worst one, and the pound dollar was our biggest worst one. We had some news in here that really shook us off. Something to know is that the X Factor does not attribute anything to news. So if news is in the system, then you're just going to get either a take profit or a stop loss. It's just part of this. So we've backtested it over it'd be 3 years now. So it's part of that. They've got plenty of trades in there where news took place. This just happened to wipe us out. So did the spin cycle thing. We got a short signal here with this push, and this impulse moved down. All the programming lined up, told us to go short. And then, of course, in a matter of no time, we took our stop loss here at that 1% mark. And then our close strategy told us it's time to get out of this trade too. So we lost 1.55% on this one. Didn't get a long signal here because of the programming. It's got to obviously have some certain details in here, which is why we also didn't get along here. But this one ended up pretty bad for us for the week, negative 2.55%. And pound dollar, negative 3.26%. This is the other one that wiped us out, and we still have a running trade. Prior week we did okay. It didn't quite even us out here, but we had a 3.23%. Now this is just on one position, remember. So we took 1% here, and then we took this 3.23% on this prior week trade that held over. So we took our first long, and it jumped into profits. We felt like this is going to be a really good move, and we kind of went back in spin cycle. And then as soon as we took off here again, we thought again that we're going to have a nice move, especially when it broke this level here, this prior resistance. And then the news came in and wiped us out. So we literally broke even. We're at 0% on this trade right here. Perfect break even. And then we had a short signal because these bars came in, turned bright red. It told us it's time for us to take a short. And we had a flip of our smoke here, so we're thinking this is going to actually dive down with the momentum that we took. And then, of course, it didn't. So we had a correction based on that, and it came up and it stopped us out. And then our close exit strategy said it's time to get out of this trade. Unfortunately, because this bar was so long, we exited at the open of the next one, which is how the X factor works. And we minus 3.26% on that trade too. So overall, a total waste. We got trashed on the X factor strategy with British pound, dollar, but it happens. And we're going to take another big couple of trades that'll give us in the profits next week. So we ended here on Friday afternoon with a running trade. Personally, I'm not entirely sure where this goes. This might correct a little bit again and come back and test these regions here. It might give us a close signal on this because this is technically an open trade where we haven't hit stop loss or take profit. So we're running a 2% risk right now. Smoke has widened up, but you never know. These impulsive moves, there's some stuff involving Brexit right now. You just never know. So we'll take the exits as it tells us to exit, and we'll go from there. So that's it. There's one more tidbit I want to cover in here in the Discord channel that we posted. Obviously, I don't have it for people that are not members to see, but what I did say is how to take some moves here. We do have a free video that you can look on our YouTube channel that talks about this trading strategy. Our members got in right about in here on the 30th of September. We took this trade and we hit profits right away. And obviously, we posted that in Discord. Half of us missed it because they just weren't at their computer. And a lot of them asked, how do we get back in this trade and make some profits if we want to? And a couple people asking, is it still safe to enter this trade? I told them no, because you never know what this is going to do, especially with big impulse candles. So the reason I said no is because sometimes this just comes back against us. And if you buy in here for a short, what you're expecting it to do is to continue almost twice as far as it did the first time. So if you imagine this is our entry, and this part is our original risk, and you're going to enter here, you're asking it to come clear down here where you get that one-to-one risk to reward. So the overall move that you're really asking the pair to do, which we haven't back tested this far, is to go from here down to where you'd buy in around here because you're trying to catch this big huge move and come down here where you get that one-to-one risk to reward. The problem is that a lot of times right after the X factor signals this first take profit, we have a little bit of reaction where it comes back, and a lot of times it comes back into the smoke. So I'll give you a tidbit on what we teach in the course here, but many times when we have this big, huge looping factor, like we have right here, where it bounces away from the smoke really far, it ends up coming back and testing the smoke. When we have a really strong move to the direction that the indication says, that's okay to get in. But I posted in our Discord channel, wait for it to test the smoke. And you would know what that is if you took our course. We'll show you that. But users could have followed this and taken this big impulse move. And then when it tested the smoke here, we could have had an entry. So right here would have been your new entry, and then you could have come down and taken your one-to-one, where it's much easier to take a one-to-one because price typically reacts to the smoke. So our entry would be here, and we'd be in at 30 pips for the dollar Canada and 30 pips. So as you can see here, you'd be taking profits because you waited for the test of the smoke. Had you got in here, you probably would have got lucky. Eventually it would have come down here, but you'd be stressing quite a bit as price moves along here. So those of you that are taking trades after the alerts, it's completely valid, and we teach you how to trade those moves in the course where you watch it test the smoke and you can enter, watch it test the smoke and you can enter. Just take into account everything. Don't chase this trade right here and enter here where it's already hit this profit, because it's really going to rebound, particularly when we have this big loop effect where it's so far away from the smoke. So give it time. If it's a really strong move, it's going to test the smoke. It's going to come back in here and play around in here. Then you can enter. And as long as all these factors are still here, like you see these bright red candles, it's telling you the bearish move is still strong, you could take that enter and go for that 30 to 30 one-to-one move, which you could have done and taken your profits here. Now, as we move through the rest of this, you can see where we had that exit strategy I already explained. We're taking 4.47% total. So on the entire week, it's 2.27% on the pairs. When I say our best pairs, the ones I'm talking about are the euro dollar, the euro yen, dollar Canada, and New Zealand dollar. It's not on here because we didn't have any alerts for the week, but those four pairs, if you watch those specifically, especially if you're new to the X Factor, it's going to do quite well for you. So watch those pairs. They usually move pretty strong with this indication. So hopefully you guys traded green. If you didn't become a member yet, please visit our website down at the bottom. I'll leave you a link. There's a Discord channel link where you can also join, and you can do a trial for 14 days where you can see our chat lines. We talk about trades, we post a number of setups, and a lot of our users can help you out there and tell you how things are going for them, maybe give you some insight on what you may or may not want to get involved with our program. So again, this is Matt with CGiM. I hope you guys trade green, and we'll see you on the next video.